I've spoken to so many people and they all say the same thing, that their way into the music business and their love of the music business and want to be a rock star came from one special night watching the TV when four long-haired guys from Liverpool appeared in front of millions of people in America. And
Yeah.
well, you're the same. You watched that special night as well, and you got to experience what many people could only dream of when you performed at this special night, the night that changed America, and you got to perform on stage with Ringo and with Sir Paul and all the other incredible guests that came on that night. I mean, just talk to me about how that felt playing with those guys and that night in general and everyone that was involved.
Well, first of all, 50 years after I see the Beatles, and I ask my mom to call them up and get me in the band, which she didn't, obviously. And I realized what my purpose in life was before I even knew what those words meant, but I knew I wanted to do that. And now, 50 years later, I'm playing with them, honoring for that amazing night. That was extremely emotional. But like being in the Super Bowl, I had to focus on winning the game. And so I put those emotions aside and focus song by song by song. After every song, when I do a show like that, I get the script of the show. I know who has to read the teleprompter. If the teleprompter doesn't work, I immediately look at the artist, look at the stage manager, and if the producers are the same thing. So I know when to count off. I'm very highly aware of what's going on. And and I'm a problem solver in a situation like that. A lot of things can go wrong.
Yeah.
So I have to be ready to adapt to make the show go right. And as a matter of fact, I walked on stage the first day of sound check for the show. And I heard somebody say, "God, thank God he's here." I'm like, who? He went, "You." I went, "Oh, wow." And what it was the guy was going, the producer was there. It was like, dude, I know that, he's seen me do Kennedy Center honors, all these big specials I did with Don Was. He knows that I get the job done, and I focus. And that's what I did. And it was at the end that I kind of went, oh my God. And I was hanging with Paul and Ringo, and they're telling us stories from Liverpool before the show, like in between rehearsal and the show. I'm hanging with Paul and Ringo, talking about what it was like to be in Hamburg, playing in the clubs and chords and smoking fags, as they call it. And I mean, I just couldn't believe it. It was me, Don Was, Ben Montench from Petty's band with Ringo and Paul. And so all this stuff, and Ringo edifying me when I walked out. I had 30 minutes left. There was 30 minutes left in the show, and I had played with Dave Grohl, John Legend, and Alicia Keys, Joe Walsh, you know, Jeff Lynne from ELO, John Mayer, Keith Urban, to name a few. I walk out to the audience to look for my wife, and there's Tom Hanks' wife, Ringo Starr and his wife, Paul McCartney's girlfriend, John Lennon and George Harrison's widows, then Sean Penn, Johnny Depp, and Tom Cruise, all there in a row. They're all acknowledging me, but Ringo's applauding and going, "Bravo, Kenny, bravo." I'm like, okay, this is my moment. I just played the Grammys with him the night before, right on that same stage, the Grammys. And 2 weeks before, I'd done a thing where we honored him. I got to play double drums on 4 songs, which, by the way, nobody plays like Ringo. Nobody, not even close. It's a unique feel and sound. Anyway, I get on my knee because everyone's looking at me in the place. There's like 10, 12,000 people there. I get on my knee. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to say to him. And he goes, "That's okay, Kenny. I'm already married." I went, "No, dude, you're the reason why I play drums. You're the reason why I play rock and roll music. You and the Beatles helped me realize my purpose in life. And I just want to thank you." And that was it. And I walked away. It was an
Wow.
amazing moment.
Absolutely incredible. And some of the names that you throw out are just absolutely just mind-boggling to think you've played with all these sorts of people. Is there
Yeah.
anybody that you haven't played with that you wish you had have done or you really want to in future?
Oh, well, I've played with Dave Grohl, but I mean, being the Foo Fighters would be so cool. Or Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age. I
Yeah.
think he's brilliant. Oh, I'd love to play. I recorded an album with Tony Iommi from Sabbath and Glenn Hughes from Deep Purple. That was a band. We did it in Wales at Monmouth Studios. I mean that. So who else? I
Just
mean,
touching
this
on
is
that quickly, sorry to butt in there. I don't like to interrupt, but Tony Iommi, working with him, I've spoken with a few people that have worked with him over the years, and he's just the master of the riff, and he gets stuff done as well. I mean, what was it like working with him?
great. It was awesome. Nicest guy in the world. Humble, sweet.
Yes.
I email him every so often. We keep talking about making another record. Um, he was amazing, but oh my God, his sound and his feel was unbelievable. And every riff. I remember Billy Corgan was producing 2 songs, and I recorded on it with Billy in LA, Tony's first record. Billy comes in. I'd met Tony. We're hanging out. Billy comes in and goes right. Billy doesn't hang out. He goes right to business. He says, Tony, play me a lick. Wow. Billy goes, and play me another one. Billy goes, drums. We go out there. Next thing you know, we're making a record or a song off of those licks. It was insane. Each lick was like a movie theme or something. It's incredible.
Absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Well, Kenny, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you for this last hour or so. Wonderful stories you've got to tell, and even more so in your book. So just plug your book one last time for us.
Well, I actually have it right back here. The book is called Sex, Drums, Rock and Roll, The Hardest Hitting Man in Showbiz. And the book is basically about growing up in a small town of 3,000 people and not knowing, realizing what I want to do for my entire life, but not knowing how to begin to do that and to end up where I am. It's about hard work, self-discipline, and perseverance. Nobody's born successful, and success does not land in your lap. You have to make it happen. And that's what that story is about.
Absolutely. You're a driven individual, that is for sure. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, Kenny. Best of luck for everything in the future, and hopefully chat with you again soon.
All right, man. Take care.